So with nearly 30 to 40 days left for prelims, so in my opinion, the student should not read anything new at this point of time. The first part is you have to do daily practice of questions. When you attempt the test, you will never be able to know whether the overall question paper is difficult or easy. Only when you come out of the exam center, you will be able to assess this. And identify the areas where you can improvise and do all the mistakes before you can actually attempt UPSC Prelims itself.
Hello aspirants, welcome to this informational video about guiding you towards preparation of UPSC Prelims Examination. And to help you with this, we have today an esteemed faculty of Vision IAS, Rajesh sir. Welcome sir.
Thank you.
So sir, before we start, as you know, now almost a month is left for Prelims 2024. So what are the important challenges that aspirants will face during this preparation?
So with nearly almost 30 to 40 days left for the prelims, so I'm sure most of the aspirants will be just worrying about what to study, what not to study, whether what they are studying that is sufficient or not. So according to me, at this point of time, the most important challenge they would be facing is to assess the effectiveness of their preparation, whether what they are reading is sufficient or not. According to the subject's weightage, are they giving enough time or are they giving more time? And whatever they are studying, is it able to fulfill the needs of UPSC or not? So that assessment itself is a very big challenge at this point of time.
So sir, this is a very important challenge that you have highlighted. Now the important part is how to address it. So how should our aspirant address this challenge?
There is a very simple rule: practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the better you will be able to assess your performance and see whether you are preparing in the right direction or not. So practice involves you have to practice at your personal level on daily basis. At the same time, practicing in a UPSC setup with a time bound manner to solve the entire paper. If you are able to practice at regular intervals, you will be able to assess your performance whether you are going in the right direction or not. And if there is any kind of lacuna in your preparation, you will be able to correct immediately.
Sir, one more area in which students find it very difficult to manage their preparation is current affair. So what should be the approach of aspirants towards current affair, especially when there is a lot of material available for current affairs also?
So with nearly 30 to 40 days left for prelims, so in my opinion, the student should not read anything new at this point of time, particularly from current affairs. So whatever you have covered till now, so till date, the current affairs you have covered from newspaper or various other sources, please try to revise as much as possible, because current affairs is a very volatile area, and if you don't revise, you will not be able to recollect most of the information, and the more you revise, the better you will be able to recollect it. And please don't read too much of too many materials. Try to stick to one particular source. For example, if you are reading PT 365, so try to revise multiple times from the same source. The more you revise, the more you get from the material.
Sir, as you talked about revision and what learning you are getting from your revision, we can assess that through mocks. So how important are mocks for prelims, and what is the best way to inculcate mock tests in your preparation?
So one has to integrate mock test into their preparation in two different ways. The first, one has to practice on daily basis at their study place itself. So whatever you have studied today, at the end of the day, try to solve some questions on this. So you will be able to get to know whether your study has been sufficient or not, and you have studied in the manner which is required by the UPSC in the particular analytical manner, or the subject is too factual or information type. So whether you have remembered the important information or not, you will be able to assess that. The first part is you have to do daily practice of questions. Second, one has to go and attempt the test in a test center in the entire UPSC pattern itself. So let's say you are attempting the full length paper of 2 hours. So completely sit for 2 hours and try to attempt all the questions and try to give your best at that time. So with that you will be able to assess your weak areas and understand your strong areas, and that you can easily do it through post-test analysis, and then again come back, again work on the weak areas. So this is how one can integrate the mock test into the preparation.
Thank you, sir. So one more area related to mock in which students face difficulty is how to attempt the test itself. So what should be the approach of aspirants while they are attempting their mock test?
Yes, this is very important actually. So many students just randomly attempt question, either they start from 1 to 100 or they start from 100 to 1 in the entire 2 hours. So that is totally mistake, I would say. In my opinion, one has to attempt at least 2 rounds the entire paper. In the first round, so try to attempt only those questions which you are sure of, where you know the answer exactly. Read the question, mark the answer, and then move ahead. So in this first round, you will read all the 100 questions and you would not have marked those questions where you did not get the answer. So those questions we can specifically identify and then come back to those questions in the second round. Divide your time into 2 parts. Let's say the first round should take approximately 1 hour 15 minutes. The rest of the time you have to give for the second round where you will try to think and get the answer. So this is a very crucial round. In the second round, you will try to deduce the answer by eliminating some of the options. If there is no chance of elimination, you try to recollect as much as possible, try to apply your common sense or maybe some general awareness, general knowledge. With some logical guess, try to get the answer. And this you have to work then and there, giving your best performance. So like this, you will attempt the second round and never take a random guess. You will take a guess only if you are left with 2 options. And in that, try to apply some logical conclusion. And at the end of the test, try to see whether your logical conclusion was right or wrong. So if you repeat this process over a period of time, your process of guessing will be streamlined. And most importantly, while attempting the test, try to mark in the OMR sheet immediately. Many students make this mistake that by the end of the test, they will mark all the 100 answers. So that is a very bad way of managing the time, because if you mark immediately, so you will not spend any extra time, just maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and you are sure that yes, this is the answer. But when you try to mark all the answers together, you may tend to miss or you may mark wrongly and you will have to spend extra time over there. And third, so whenever you feel that the questions are a little bit difficult, the paper pattern is a little bit difficult, so don't come to a conclusion immediately, okay, so this is a difficult paper, this is a tough paper. Take one question at a time. See the question, try to read it completely with a calm mind and then try to get the answer. Because many of the times you might not have read the question. So, but if you read the question, you will get some hint, some statement will be there where you had read somewhere where the common sense would apply. With that, many of the times you will get the answer. Many students just skip the question just thinking that I have not read this topic, I will not be able to answer this. Okay, because when you attempt the test, you will never be able to know whether the overall question paper is difficult or easy. Only when you come out of the exam center, you will be able to assess this. At that moment, only each question at a time, one question at a time. That is how you have to handle.
So, sir, what we can infer from this is that practicing question becomes very crucial for prelims. And it has moved now to a stage where you cannot just statically sit and do whatever question you have at your hand. The preparation for prelims is also becoming dynamic. So, seeing this, Vision IAS has launched this new initiative, that is Sandhan. So, can you tell us what is the core idea of Sandhan and what are its various features?
So, as I said earlier, every student has to practice on daily basis. And this practice is something very personalized. Okay, let's say a student has studied today the subject of polity, and in that the chapter of fundamental rights. And you want to see whether you have studied well or as per the requirement of UPSC or not. So here comes Sandhan. Sandhan is a very personalized test series where a student can select the required topic and the required number of questions and personalize a test and attempt it at your convenience. So, in this case, if a student has studied fundamental rights, so you can just select the topic of fundamental rights and you can select the number of questions, let us say 10, 15, 20, and in a time bound manner you will get the questions in UPSC format itself. You can immediately attempt and get to know whether your preparation is right or not. The core idea is to personalize the test series according to your requirement and to practice on daily basis. For this, we have a database of nearly 15,000 questions, so which will be personalized according to your need of the topics.
So, sir, as you mentioned that there are 15,000 questions in it. So, what kind of questions are there, and do students get to practice the previous year questions also in Sandhan?
Yes. So, in this database, we have two types of questions. One is the mock questions of UPSC format, exactly trying to replicate the UPSC themes. Second, the previous year's questions. So, let us say a student has studied the topic of climatology, and in that area what are the previous questions which have come till now, those questions are also there. And also in the same format of UPSC, we have prepared a set of questions, and if you select a personalized test which is mix of both will be given to you. And if somebody wants to use only UPSC questions, you can select that also. So, this will also give you a personalized feedback, how exactly you have attempted and in which area you have to improvise, whether this topic you have studied thoroughly or not, or should you read again and come back and give again. So, you will get a personalized feedback also.
But sir, there is already All India Test Series and there is also Abhyas initiative of Vision IAS. So, how is Sandhan different from All India Test Series and Abhyas?
See, Sandhan is an initiative which will help you to practice on daily basis. So, let us say in geography you have studied the chapter of climatology. If you go to Sandhan and select the unit of climatology, it will give you the questions of climatology, both the previous UPSC papers as well as the mock questions. So, with that you will be able to revise the entire unit, at the same time assess your performance. So, this you can do it on daily basis, and at regular intervals based on your schedule, you can go to test center and you will give the All India Test Series, where the test will be section specific, for example geography, or it can be full length also. So, this is like replicating the exact UPSC pattern, and to give the exact UPSC environment you have to take Abhyas, where you will go to a test center like a government school and attempt the paper in the same time as that of UPSC, morning paper 1, afternoon paper 2, and get the experience of UPSC Prelims.
So, sir, we can say that Sandhan actually complements the All India Test Series as well as Abhyas in prelims preparation.
Yes, definitely.
Sir, now coming to subject specific topics or core areas that one should focus. So, what are these core areas for geography that all students should keep in mind for preparing prelims?
So, if you see last few years of previous year's questions, so geography has become a very important section, and considering its weightage in environment section as well as some of the mapping area of international relations, so one cannot compromise in the subject of geography. So, in geography, in my opinion, one has to thoroughly prepare three important sections: the Indian physical geography, the second one is the mapping section, and third, in the recent times, the questions on current related aspects, that is economic activities of agriculture, resources, industries, and try to link it with the current affairs. So, these are the areas which one has to focus in geography.
Sir, as the exam dates move closer, what should be the last moment strategies for our aspirants and any motivational message that you would like to share with them?
At this moment, I would like to tell you a very famous quote of Abraham Lincoln. If you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. In the context of UPSC, particularly prelims, sharpening the axe is practicing. The more you practice, the better you will be in your preparation. With practice, you'll be able to assess your performance very easily and identify the areas where you can improvise and do all the mistakes before you can actually attempt UPSC prelims itself. So my simple advice, practice, practice, practice.
Thank you so much, sir, for guiding our aspirants. So, aspirants, I hope that you now have a very good idea how to approach prelims examinations, and do join the Sandhan initiative of Vision IAS to get an edge in your prelims preparation. Thank you and all the best.